to get to the root cause of the symptoms that you're having. And why does functional medicine and integrative holistic medicine address these underlying causes that are so essential to not just treat the symptoms or a condition with just putting a band-aid on it, just a simple medication, which at times can be useful and important and effective. But is it a long-term solution? And that is why integrative medicine gets to these underlying causes. And these root causes need to be addressed in order to reach optimal health. And we all know that food is always the first step, the choices that we make and the foods that we eat, because that really begins the idea that we need optimal amounts of nutrients when we're dealing with our lives today, because there's a lot of environmental toxins, there's PCBs, pesticides, there's heavy metals, and assorted other things that we have to encounter every day, that our body utilizes nutrients to detoxify many of the chemicals. And that's just one step along the way to reaching optimal health. Other systems in the body really indicate issues with inflammation, and that is so important to address low grade chronic inflammation. And this is something that can be a root cause of so many chronic diseases. And so is the idea that there's free radicals, which means when our mitochondria, which is our energy producing part of our cell, is using oxygen in the foods that we eat to give us energy, at times the byproducts of that process can create these free radicals that cause damage to our mitochondria, which is our source of our energy. So we really want to improve mitochondrial health, which means providing the mitochondria with the nutrients that it needs to really take our foods, our fats, our carbohydrates, and turn it into energy efficiently. And so we really need to optimize our nutrients, vitamins, and minerals, and amino acids. And a lot of that comes with optimizing the gut. So, really, what the big development is in functional integrative medicine is the advanced lab testing, that we really get into the details of, let's say, the uric acid metabolism, because that is really a problem when it's too low or too high, homocysteine and inflammation markers like ferritin, high sensitivity C reactive protein, really getting into the details and not just looking at the reference ranges, but the optimal numbers in the range, and really individualize it to each unique person with what they're eating, their vitamin levels. And, that's how we can address the food choices, not just giving standardized diets that seem good, but is not really adequate for that individual person. So you have to really individualize the food choices based on this in depth lab testing of vitamins, nutrients, inflammation, mitochondrial health, insulin resistance, and cortisol levels and thyroid levels, all the hormones that we all know need to be optimized and have proper communication. And that is why fats in the diet is so important. And that's why food is really the first move when it comes to making lifestyle choices. But then there needs to be targeted nutrients based on this advanced lab work and based on the gut microbiome testing. And what is the gut microbiome and why is it so essential to optimal health? And that is because 70% at least of our immune system is in the gut. And also, much of inflammation can be occurring in the gut because of this immune system, what it encounters. So you see, our gut is what is really closely encountering the outside world through food and toxins that are coming into our mouth and going into our intestines. So the gut has to be protective. It has to have a very proactive immune system, but not too reactive. So what we want to do is see if there's an overgrowth of bacteria, but most stool tests only look for pathogens, only look for really disease producing bacteria and viruses. But there are often these bacteria that live in our gut, but when they become overgrown, they create inflammation. They cause our immune system to over respond. So you want to use a specific type of stool test that looks at the overgrowth of even neutral bacteria. And that is where it's important to really get to this functional medicine part of GI microbiome testing. We also want to make sure there's not an overgrowth of Candida, which is a type of fungus or yeast. We also want to make sure there's not an overgrowth of parasites and H. pylori. And we also want to make sure that there's an abundance of our good bacteria. And there's also many different types of good bacteria. And that's all very important to optimize on a gut microbiome test that you put together with these very advanced lab testings of inflammation, free radicals, oxidative stress, and mitochondria health, hormone optimization like thyroid and adrenal hormones and testosterone and estrogen. All those hormones need to be optimized. And at times you need to optimize nutrients like zinc and boron, many vitamins and minerals and amino acids to really uh, optimize levels of inflammation, oxidative stress, hormone communication, mitochondria health, insulin resistance. All that is addressed in integrative medicine. So that is the complete picture. And reach out to us at our website. It's listed there on the screen, and you can make an appointment that way. And really, you can optimize your health by putting it all together, the lab work that you've had in the past with the current, more advanced lab work, the GI microbiome testing, put it all together and reach optimal levels, not just reference ranges. And then you get really good recommendations for what foods you should be eating based on these results of the lab testing and the gut microbiome testing. So the foods that you're eating are going to really be directed at improving those results. And at times you might need targeted nutrients to really optimize and improve those results. And that is a way to reach optimal health without missing anything and taking wrong turns on this pathway to wellness. Everyone have a healthy day. Reach out to us if you have any questions, and check out our website is listed there on the screen. Thank you for joining.